Welcome to your Scorpio full moon astrological embodiment. So this is a beautiful, nurturing, emotionally grounding practice for you to both tap into and harness the intensity of passionate Scorpio and to soothe and ground your emotional body. Let's begin. If you have any props available to you, we will be spending time in some yin restorative postures on the ground at the end. So if you have a pillow, or if you are blessed enough to have some blocks or props or pillows, please grab them now. Coming to the top of our mat, let us tap into that Scorpionic intensity with our sun salutations, and also Scorpio's imaginative, creative abilities. So we're going to move through a creative Vinyasa flow. And of course, we're going to have to work on our scorpion pose too, as Scorpio is represented by that scorpion, that intense scorpion. Coming to the top of our mat, bringing your feet together, we want to cultivate balance in this practice. So Scorpio is, of course, emotional intensity and extremes, and yet health is achieved through homeostasis, and peace comes when we are balanced. So we'll be exploring our balance here. So just taking a moment in your Tadasana, your mountain pose with your feet together, which is what makes it a balancing posture, to come forward and back, exploring the balance from the tips of your toes to the backs of your heels. So just tipping yourself, exploring front and back, and then just noticing how the body's naturally self-correcting and naturally bringing us back into harmony and balance. And then exploring tipping from left to right, just coming off your center. So allowing your whole body to sway and exploring the edges of your feet and the edges of your balance. And then just noticing what it's like to come back into balance. Beautiful. Rolling the shoulders back, planting the hands in the back pockets as if they were in the back pockets rather, facing the palms of the hands forward. Just let the shoulder blades melt down the back. Taking a moment to close down the eyes ever so gently. So diving into the emotional depths of Scorpio here under this full moon. Our emotions are our superpowers. So becoming aware of what powerful energy resides within. Taking a deep cleansing breath here. Breathing deeply. Let's begin activating our Oje Breath. So the low belly is the engine of the breath. So inhaling, the low belly expands. And exhaling, the low belly contracts. Inhaling, the lower belly expands. Exhaling, the low belly contracts. Beautiful. You can begin to activate that sound of the ocean in the Oje Breath. So inhaling, we're expanding, filling the body with fresh prana, fresh breath. And we're exhaling, contracting, releasing stagnant prana, stagnant breath. And then bringing in that sound of the ocean by gently constricting the back of the throat, but remaining full in the breath in the belly. Beautiful. So we're moved now through some creative asana, inhaling, rising up, and exhaling down. So focusing on the breath. Gently lift and lengthen, inhale. Exhaling, fold, stepping back into a plank position here and coming all the way down to the earth. Exhaling. Staying here for a moment. Inhaling with an intense focus on the breath. Lifting the upper body and the shoulders. Exhaling, coming down, placing the forehead, the third eye on the floor. Inhaling again here, rolling the shoulders back, lifting up the chest. Exhaling down, beginning to wake up the low back. So inhaling again here and stay lifted now for 3 breaths. 3 deep breaths, feeling the belly, compression of the belly on the earth. Exhaling and staying here for 3 juicy breaths. And when you've completed, coming back down, let's press back into a child's pose, a healing, nurturing child's pose. Staying for a few breaths in your child's pose, focus in on your breath. Opening through the hips where we tend to store a lot of emotions. So we're going to be doing a lot of hip opening as well as balancing in this asana sequence, in this vinyasa flow, to release emotions. And I want to invite you, as you release here even more through the hips in your child's pose, to feel all the sensations arising in your body and the emotions being released in your emotional body. So being courageous to feel all your feelings and lean in. So taking one last deep, nourishing, cleansing breath here in your child's pose. And then I want you to roll, come up on hands and knees and roll through the spine, dropping the hips down first and then lifting the chin last, coming up. And we're going to roll through, tucking the neck, then pressing through the hands, lifting the seat back and coming back into our child's pose. And then again, moving forward, rolling through the spine, dropping the hips down, and the chin comes up last. The shoulders are rolling back. And then tucking the chin, exhaling, lifting the navel to bring the seat back into your child's pose. Exhaling. Roll through a series of very articulated spinal rolls here to begin to activate and awaken the spine and all the energy channels along the spine. Beautiful. Just a few more juicy spinal rolls, waking up the spine here. Gorgeous. Coming on to hands and knees for some cat-cow, just to open up and awaken and activate the spine even more. Inhaling, the navel drops and the chin is up, looking up. Exhaling, cat. The navel hugs in as we arch the back and drop the chin. Inhaling up and exhaling. Gorgeous. One more time. Inhaling, the navel drops and the chin lifts. And exhaling. Beautiful. Let us press back, flipping over the toes into our downward facing dog. Spending a few breaths here in your downward facing dog. Take time to feel all of the sensations in your hamstrings as you drop your heels down to the earth, maybe pedaling them out one at a time. Allowing for a little bit of a walking, taking your little dog for a walk, pedaling out the heels, shifting the hips, pressing down firmly into the earth, especially rooted through the middle finger and the thumb, and pressing back, rolling the shoulders, girdling them in, expanding through the vertebra, and the brain is heavy in the head. So taking one more deep, juicy breath here, and then lifting your right leg. I want you to open the hip like your scorpion tail. So the pictograph for Scorpio is the stinging tail. So just opening up. And you can even elongate through the leg to receive an even greater stretch in the armpit, the side body, and then dropping the foot again, letting the shoulders stay squared to the floor. And then coming back, let's bring the foot down and open up through the other side. So lifting the left leg and scorpioning, letting your little scorpion tail flip over while your shoulders remain parallel to the floor. You can straighten the leg if you like and explore a side body stretch. As you breathe deeply, beautiful. And coming back, placing both hands on the floor, both feet on the floor. Let's come down to our knees just for a minute into Drisana, lightning pose. So sitting back on the heels. Taking a few deep cleansing breaths. Just noticing as we begin our flow, if you have been present with your emotional body, or have you been distracted? So just focusing, using that Scorpio power of intense concentration and focus to really focus in on the breath, letting it take you deeper into exploring the emotional body. Beautiful. We're going to come back into our downward facing dog now with increased awareness of the breath, focus, and concentration. So really concentrating in on the breath. And we're going to step forward. You can step or give a little hop to the top of your mat. I'm just going to adjust my microphone here. So staying in this forward fold. Hopefully that's better for you. Staying in this juicy forward fold here. Feeling really supported and held, emotionally grounded into the floor. You can bend your knees even and compress the belly on the quads, on the thighs here. Releasing the neck, letting the neck be heavy, and taking a few breaths in this juicy forward fold. You can bring your hands to the floor or fold your arms. Feeling free, you can explore straightening the legs, keeping them bent, bending one at a time, even swaying side to side. Letting this posture ground you and experiencing release. And then when you're ready, slowly grounding down into the earth as you slowly roll and articulate vertebra by vertebra, coming up. And then at the top, rolling the shoulders back and releasing for a moment, just to notice the body, becoming aware. And then again, bringing the feet together here. Let's come into this balancing posture. And let's just explore balance with a warrior 3 to begin to awaken our emotional balance. So coming on to both feet, allowing yourself to be firmly rooted into the ground before you simply lift your right leg, bringing the torso parallel to the earth as you lean forward. And you can use your hands however you like. So you can fly your hands back or bringing them forward for an extra challenge and core activation. You can bring your hands together at heart center. And my right leg is reaching back towards the back wall, and my crown is reaching towards the front as I isometrically contract to elongate through the spine. My hamstrings are very activated here. Ooh, so let's come back, tipping our body up, noticing any heat generating in the standing leg, increased sensation and fire. I know for me, my hamstrings really were feeling that. Beautiful. Let's come into our second side, feeling emotionally balanced and grounded, rooting down before we lift off. So feeling yourself very stably connected to the earth beneath you. Wobbling is wonderful, allowing for that inevitable fluctuation, and then allowing yourself to naturally come back into balance. So even my hip is rotating inward rather than splaying out, or rather than turning out as I would in my beautiful crescent moon. And then I'm getting longer. I like to reach back here. Of course, the hands can be at the heart center, and we're breathing deeply, exploring what it means to be balanced. A few more deep breaths here. You're doing great work. And then coming up. Beautiful. Feeling the activations and sensations in the hamstring of the standing leg. Noticing your emotional body and how this somatic experience is impacting you on a deeper level. Let's flow through our vinyasa, reaching up to the sky. You can even press the pelvis forward if you like here, if that feels safe, as you slowly bow forward to connect with the earth. Inhaling, gently lift and lengthen. Exhaling, folding, placing all 10 fingers firmly rooted on the ground as you step back, exhaling fully. You can come into your Chaturanga Dandasana or all the way to the floor for a low cobra. If you're ready for that upward facing dog, inhaling, opening the heart, rolling the shoulders back, and then exhaling, pressing the hips back and up into our beautiful forward or downward facing dog, this inversion that's so good for us. So feeling that grounded energy here, emotional stability, and lifting the right leg up, scorpioning or opening the hip, and then bringing the right knee forward to touch the forehead, activating the core, and again back. And let's do this a few times here. Exhaling. And then on your third, come forward into our crescent. So feeling and allowing that stability. Creating structure, the structure that's going to support you. The heel is reaching back as it's lifted. And my knee is stacked over my heel to give me maximum support. And as I come up, I'm just feeling the sensation in my left hip, opening through the heart. The medicine for Scorpio is definitely love, unconditional love, compassion. It's just opening the heart slightly here, feeling the activation in the left hip, releasing any stagnant energy. Deep cleansing breaths. Staying here. And then opening into our warrior two, working with the intensity of Scorpio. So Scorpio is so focused, determined. So opening up here and gazing over your right fingertips with so much focus and concentration with your drishti. So gazing over those fingertips, not with an intent, not with a harsh gaze, but softly, yet focused. And breathing in our warrior pose. Feeling the intensity in this posture. And then reaching forward in order to come back into our reversed warrior. You can keep the left hand lifted to activate the core, or feel free to come more into the stretch by dropping the left palm, lifting the gaze. Inhaling back up. And let's come into a beautiful side bend here. And if you like, you can come all the way to the earth. I personally don't have long enough arms for that. But I also don't want to compromise the integrity of the structure that gives me stability, especially related to my pelvic bowl. If I stick out my hips in order to come forward, I'm really compromising the integrity of the posture. And then I can reach my left hand forward, and I can even trace my fingertips across the wall in order to open up my side body even more. Beautiful. And then coming up, and let's windmill our arms down to the ground, pausing in a lizard lunge here. You can drop the back knee for a moment, and you might like to bring your hands to the center here, or you might like to have them on either side of the foot, but eventually lifting the back knee, tucking the toes, and allowing this lizard to put us into deeper contact with the stabilizing energy of the earth. So it's Taurus season, and then the full moon is awakening and activating the opposition to Taurus, the polarity of Taurus, which is Scorpio. So we do have that, definitely the energetic support of the earth for our watery nature to come forward and be held and supported. Gorgeous. Placing the hands firmly on the ground, stepping back into plank and coming through our Vinyasa. Chaturanga, all the way to the earth, opening the heart, rolling the shoulders back, flipping over the toes and back into our downward facing dog. Staying in your downward facing dog for 5 deep cleansing breaths, allowing this to be our resting posture. So feeling restful here. Beautiful. And on your last breath, lifting the left leg, scorpioning the tail. And then coming back, squaring the hips, bringing the knee in and extending back, hugging the knee in, rounding the back and back, inhaling, exhaling. Beautiful. And on the third attempt, bringing the left foot firmly onto the earth, feeling stabilized, allowing the knee to come over the ankle, and the right ankle is reaching back. And when you're ready, coming up into your crescent lunge on the other side. I'm immediately feeling the sensations in my right adductor, the front right hip. What about you? Deep breaths here. And then opening the heart, cactusing the arms, and then coming up and even trying to go back again if it feels good. Focusing on the breath with that intense concentration. And beautiful, opening into our warrior two. working with our drishti, which is our power of concentration, but gently softening the gaze. And reaching forward to come back into a beautiful reversed warrior. Focusing on the breath. And coming into our beautiful side angle. Extended side angle. I think what is this pose called? And then tracing the hands across the front wall, opening up the side body and the psoas, breathing deeply, noticing the emotional response. Noticing where you're forcing. Scorpio can be very forceful. So just noticing if you can bring in that beautiful, compassionate energy. And then coming up to our warrior two and windmilling down into a lizard lunge. Dropping the back knee, feeling connected to the earth beneath you. Bhumi Devi, Divine Mother in the form of the earth. And then just taking a moment here and eventually tucking the toes and coming up into a lunge if it feels right for you. And stepping back into a plank, and moving through your vinyasa at your own pace. Meeting together back in downward facing dog. Beautiful, and lifting the right leg, scorpioning the tail for a moment, and then coming back, squaring the hips. Let's bring the knee into the chest before bringing down the foot. And let's come back into a high lunge. And we're going to immediately come up into our warrior three again. So just exploring the difference now. Having activated and awakened more of the body, the energetic body, the pranic body, what this feels like. So now we're back where we started. And just noticing if you feel more stable. And beautiful. Coming back into our high lunge. Let's open again into our warrior for a moment. Focusing our drishti, our gaze. Reversing our beautiful warrior. And this time straightening the leg back to a reverse triangle. And then let's come back and come into our side angle. So some people like to come all the way to the ground. I don't like to compromise the integrity in the hips, and I don't have the flexibility or mobility for that. So if you feel inspired, if you have a block even to come to the earth, I like to stay more lifted. And actually this becomes a wonderful core activation here. Especially if I'm not overly leaning on my leg. This can also help to really activate those secondary chakras next to your Manipura chakra. But definitely can activate Manipura chakra, the fire center. So Scorpio, although it's water, is a spicy water. And it's hot water. It's intense water. So there's definitely that core strength with the intense willpower of Scorpio, who is so determined. Secondary ruler of Scorpio is Mars, the warrior, who has a square this full moon on May 7th to the lunation. So some tension for us to overcome there. And then when you're ready, coming up, beautiful. And let's just bend the knee and then cartwheel our arms down, coming back into our plank, exhaling through Chaturanga, opening the heart, exhaling back. And let's come into the other side, lifting the left leg, bending the hip. Beautiful, bringing the knee forward before placing the foot onto the earth, coming back into our high crescent lunge, and then moving back into our balancing posture. So noticing how this side is different and how this time is different. Do you feel more stable, secure, more grounded, more open? Taking a few breaths here, just noticing how does your emotional body respond to being off balance? And how good does it feel to practice being balanced? Gorgeous. Stepping back and opening into our warrior, finding that beautiful focus of our drishti, our gaze here over the fingertips. Concentrating and reversing our warrior. And then straightening the leg, reversed triangle. Coming forward and then coming into our extended triangle here. Beautiful. If you'd like to stay a little more active here, you can release any grip or support on the left hand to activate the Manipura chakra, the fire, the solar plexus, the fire element in our core center. Breathing deeply. You can look up or down, reaching long through the arm. And when we're ready, coming up, bending through the knee, and then let's cartwheel down. Placing the hands firmly on the earth before we come into our Chaturanga Dandasana. The elbows are hugged in our yogic technique. Inhaling, the hips drop down safely, and we flip over the heels, flip over the toes as we bring the pelvis back, pressing down firmly into the earth. Releasing the neck, the head is heavy, the brain is heavy in the skull. Gorgeous. Taking a few deep cleansing breaths here. And then let's slowly walk our feet forward to meet our hands and allowing for a beautiful forward fold. Just making sure my microphone is in the right place. If you see me adjusting and releasing the crown of the head to the floor, let's take the hands and bring them inside and alternately grasping with the fingers either shin. So my right hand is on my left shin and my left hand is on my right shin, and I'm just hugging myself in. And then releasing that crossed grip there. I would like for you to take your two peace fingers, so your index finger and your middle finger, and grab your big toes, allowing yourself to be really grounded and connected to the earth as you touch your feet. And then you can even bend your elbows as you gently pull yourself in without any excessive or extreme force, just ever so slightly. Exploring and breathing and releasing tension in this forward fold. And let's roll up to the top, standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. Taking a moment just to appreciate the hard work you're doing. Becoming aware of your physical body and how your feet feel against the floor. Feeling the earth holding you and supporting you. And once you feel really embodied and connected to your physical body, noticing the emotional body. Feeling safe to explore the depths of the emotional realm. Beautiful. We're going to come now down to the earth for some more restorative time. Of course, Scorpio is that regenerative force in nature, regenerative force within. Bending forward. Let's just bend the knees and come down to a seat. Coming into an easy posture, crossing the legs, if this is comfortable for you. If you have tight hips, you can use blocks or props, or feel free to sit in a way that feels comfortable. We're going to do some pranayama, some breathing exercises to help balance our emotional body. So you can rub the hands together a little bit. Bringing some energy into the hands and dusting them off. Beautiful. So we'll practice some alternate nostril breathing. So just following along the best that you can. And we're going to use our right hand, if that's comfortable for you. And we will use the ring finger on the left nostril if you're following along with your right hand, and then the right thumb on the right nostril. And then these two fingers, the middle finger and the index finger, they will point towards the third eye, the Kutastha center, awakening our mental perception and clarity as we cleanse and purify our nadis through this breath control. So we will begin with a deep exhale. Exhaling all of the breath out of the body. And then we will close the right nostril and inhale left for 6 counts. Holding at the top for 12 counts if you can. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Closing the left nostril, exhaling right for 12 counts if you can. And then pausing at the bottom, inhaling right. Holding at the top. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Closing the right nostril, exhaling left. Pausing at the bottom, inhaling left. Holding at the top, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhaling right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hold, pausing at the bottom, inhaling right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holding at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhaling left. So continuing this alternate nostril breathing in your own rhythm and pace. We're inhaling left, pausing at the top, exhaling right, pausing at the bottom. Inhaling right, pausing at the top, exhaling left, pausing at the bottom. So So just practicing this on your own for a few breaths. You can keep the 6 count inhale and the 12 count hold, the 12 count exhale if you like, or you can just simply try to elongate the exhale. We ideally want to double the exhale to the inhale. And if you can hold at the top and the bottom, that's wonderful. Beautiful. I'm going to share with you another breathing technique, Kapalabhati breathing, fire breathing. So activating that passionate fire of Scorpio with this breathing exercise. So in this breathing exercise, we are going to be activating our digestive fire. And it can also be very purifying and even awakening, a little espresso boost for you via pranayama. In this breathing exercise, it might take you a while to master, or maybe you are already a Kapalabhati fire breathing master. Go for it. If so, start your breathing now. Otherwise, I'm going to guide you through this amazing breath. So my navel is going to hug in as I pulse my belly in towards my spine. So I'm pulsing, I'm contracting, contracting, contracting. The navel is hugging in, as I forcefully exhale, and the inhale will just naturally occur. I'm not focusing or even trying to inhale. Rather, the focus or emphasis is on the exhale. So it goes like this. Your turn. Go ahead and give this a try. It can take a while to master, but feel free to make many mistakes here. So exhaling. Continuing this breath and feeling the fire coming through. So continuing your Kapalabhati breathing, my navel is hugging in. I'm contracting in, pressing the breath out. If you are a Kundalini yogi, you can stick your thumbs up and out like little antennas as you breathe this Kapalabhati breath. Generating friction in my throat. Keep going. You've got this. And when you've completed your Kapalabhati breathing practice, just coming to stillness and noticing the effects of this pranayama on your being, feeling the heat and the fire. So as you bask in the after effect of the pranayama, just noticing how you internalize fire, energy, heat. Scorpio is prone to anger, can be even vengeful. So when we cannot properly express this fire power and harmonize the fire energy within, it can really eat away at us. If we repress the intensity of the fire element, it can lead to a lot of shadow aspects. So just noticing how you feel in the heat of this pranayama Kapalabhati. I know I love Kapalabhati. It's definitely one of my favorite pranayamas. Beautiful. So we want to do some hip opening now to further release any emotional stagnation or stored or pent up emotions in the body. We're going to come into our pigeon or sleeping swan. So if you want to come into your pigeon or sleeping swan from a downward facing dog, if that feels good to you, go for it. If you have any supports, definitely our support system is so vital for a Scorpio too, or anytime we're feeling emotional intensity. So I invite you to bring some props forward to support you. So bringing the right knee in, bending the right knee, and the left foot could be parallel to the knee, or we could bring the foot in as well. So experimenting how far you want to take it today. Coming up and over on top of the legs. Here, nothing fancy, just coming in. You can take a moment to lift up and then come into what some people call a sleeping swan. And bending forward. If you want to come onto a pillow or a prop, that's wonderful. Bringing the forehead to the floor if you like. The arms can extend long in front of you. And taking some deep, nourishing breaths here. You might even want to come up on your forearms as you really feel this activation and engagement in the right glute. Seeing if you can feel and arrange yourself in a way that activates the right glute. So letting the alignment cues go and just making your own micro adjustments until you feel that activation, and then finding stillness. We're going to pause here for at least 10 breaths, long, deep breaths. Slowing down. Grounding down, feeling held and supported by the earth to support your emotional release. Opening the hips where we store so much emotion. Can drop the neck if the head is lifted. Just coming into a quiet place to be present with your feelings, leaning in. And when you're ready, planting the hands firmly into the earth to press yourself up, you can bring your little tail in, your left leg in, and just take a moment for the rebound. So whatever you want to do in between sides, whatever the body naturally is inclined towards, let yourself go there to release this posture. And then we'll come into the second side. So bending the knees, the left foot comes in and the right leg swings around the back and elongates as we can lift ourselves up on top of our leg for that compression. Or you can come into this from your downward facing dog if that makes more sense to you. I'm taking the lazy way into the posture. Bringing any props, cushions, support, bolster, blocks in front of you as needed, or you might like to get a pillow under the hip or a blanket for the hip. Noticing if this side is different than the other side and accepting that. just slowly, you can lift up before you come down if you like, but just folding forward, surrendering, releasing, letting go. Focusing on the breath. The breath is our connection to the present moment. It's this breath and then we can use the power of our mind and our awareness to send the breath into the hips. To open up and release stagnant energy and emotion. Anything that's festering or has accumulated that no longer serves us. Staying here, releasing deeper into the depths. Accepting where you're at, there's no need to force. A few more deep breaths here. If you'd like to either release slowly from the posture or come in deeper, you're welcome, listening to your body. And then when you're ready, you can simply come up and swing your leg back around and doing whatever feels right to rebound, to counterbalance. So just seeing how the body reverberates and the echoes of the posture. Beautiful. Let us come into a wide-legged forward fold. I really like to have a block for this, if at all possible. Or you can grab some pillows. So opening up the legs here. If you like to roll up a little pillow or a blanket, then you can sit on it to elevate the hips to allow for that pelvic tilt. And we're not going to be forcing in this posture, so accepting wherever you are at, allowing yourself to feel your sit bones connected in to the earth, stabilized, grounded, held. And then slowly coming forward as you're ready, not exerting your will too much, like a Scorpio might, but rather really accepting where you're at and being compassionate. And then using that intense focus and determination to focus on the breath, to come into the present moment. Deepening when it makes sense to you. I really like to support my head here and just noticing your emotional response to this position. Deep cleansing breaths. And with every exhale, releasing deeper and deeper. Few more deep breaths here. If you like to release gently a little bit as you finalize this position, or you could go deeper still. Beautiful. Pressing yourself up and noticing how the body naturally wants to rebound. You can support your legs and pull them in, bringing yourself back into an easy pose. Let's come on to our backs. We should do Scorpion, but I have really moved away from extreme behavior of arm balances. I used to be really into handstands and arm balances, and I realized I was hurting myself because I was seeking external validation through the extremes of inversions. I don't think it's really necessary. It's fun, and if you're building up to that in a way that's really healthy, definitely explore your arm balances. I know I have done myself a great disservice chasing after arm balances, so I've actually decided, I was like, oh, we should do Scorpion, but I also think of it as an extreme posture. So we would definitely want to be avoiding extremes right now. Perhaps under a Taurus full moon, we will counterbalance the Taurus complacency and get into that posture. So coming onto our backs, if you really want to take Scorpion, go for it. Coming down, and let's find some more stability. I am loving it, the stabilizing force and influence myself. So let's just bring the pelvic bowl firmly onto the earth, feeling the sacrum or the three fused vertebrae at the low back, feeling them rooted into the ground, held by the earth beneath you. And then let's just rock around our clock. So imagining that there is a clock on your pelvis, and you're just going to rock clockwise along the different numbers, massaging the circumference of your beautiful sacred bone, the sacrum, on the ground, making this connection, and then rocking your clock the other way. You can move slowly and articulate, or if you'd like to go a little bit faster, find your own pace and momentum. And then we're going to rock our clock up and down the clock from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So just rocking the clock up and down, just noticing that zippering effect that happens when you rock up, and noticing as well your bandhas that are engaged. So that root lock that we access in our yoga practice, it's like as if you're zipping up as you rock from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And you can even place both hands firmly on the quads and press actively away as you zip up and come on to the 12 o'clock position at the top of the sacrum. So just see what that's like. And this can be a wonderful core engagement practice as well. So as you tip the pelvis up, zippering up, engaging Mula Bandha, which is like a Kegel exercise for women, or if you're urinating and have to stop quickly, this pelvic floor contraction. You can activate that as well as you counteract that by pressing into the quads. Beautiful. And then let's rock the clock horizontally from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Little action there. And then let's go diagonal. From 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And then diagonally the other way from 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock to about 4. So just feel what that diagonals feel like. And now just explore your own way. Try to hit these different points, especially if the diagonal one is odd for you. It's great to give the connective tissue a different pattern that it's not used to help break it up and increase mobility. Gorgeous. Now I want us to stabilize the pelvic, bringing it to stillness. Stabilizing the pelvis, noticing the TA, the transverse abdominis, this girdling effect from the back of the sacrum that comes around and through the pelvic bowl. So just feeling this kind of girdling effect, which we can also practice in our rib cage or even our shoulders, where we're really plugging into the body. So just taking a moment to stabilize through the pelvic bowl, kind of feeling into the TA, the transverse abdominis. Definitely Google that. And just noticing and seeing how the pelvic bowl is stable, and then straightening the right leg while the pelvic bowl is totally stabilized, and see if you can straighten and bend the right leg without moving the pelvic bowl 1 iota. And then on the other side, keeping the pelvic bowl so stabilized, so secure there, while we bend and straighten the left leg. So it's just a little exercise for you. I think we should do some core activation before we finish up here. So let us just come into this low boat pose, activating the core, activating the navel, lifting the feet, lifting the head. The shoulders are off the ground. There's a lot of trembling, reaching towards the toes, staying lifted, activating our willpower. Just here for a few breaths. Staying lifted. You can do it. I know this is hard. One more breath. And release. So feeling that fire and that heat in the body. We're going to come back up into this posture, which is quite challenging, just for a few breaths, just to get in some activation of the navel, Manipura chakra, the fire element. So this willpower that Scorpio has available. And lifting up when you're ready, coming up with an inhale. Lifting, the low back is firmly rooted on the ground, the pelvic bowl is really stable. Lifting the shoulders up, activating the core. Taking a few breaths here. And exhaling down. Seeing if we can slowly over time in our daily practice just increase the amount of time we can devote to that challenging core activation. If you want, you can windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then let's just take a gentle twist. So let me move my microphone, but you can just let your knees, hugging in your knees and letting them fall to the right side and opening up the arm to the left. You can make the arms like a T. Stretching the arms out, or you might want to bring your right hand to the left thigh to support you. Just taking a few deep breaths, allowing for some compression in the belly or a twist in the low back. And just taking a few breaths here as we slow down and come towards the end of our full moon in Scorpio practice. And then coming up and over to the other side. Opening the arm, twisting the body, looking over the right shoulder. Allowing for the compression in the belly. So good for us. The Kapalabhati is great for digestive health. Any twists or compression on the gut. So much of our serotonin is made in the belly. So the mind is the mirror for the belly. And a lot of times if we're experiencing depression or any mental health issues, oftentimes we need to look at our gut health. So our gut, our belly. And yoga is definitely a beautiful way to help take care of that. Of course, primarily through the foods that we eat, and secondarily through our yoga practice. And when you're ready, coming back to center, and then let's just stretch the knees out, elongating through the legs, coming into our final resting posture, Shavasana. So like a little starfish, breathing through the entire body together at the same time. So feeling the breath through the entire being, like your whole body is breathing. Taking a few breaths like this. And then releasing the breath, letting it just be natural. Feeling the body heavy and weighted. Connecting to the earth. Feeling supported so that you can just let go and release in this corpse pose, Shavasana, the pose to be mastered above all poses. Scorpio is that death, so this is definitely Scorpio's true posture. Corpse pose is the letting go, it's the release, the ending, completion. We surrender here in this final posture. Just relaxing the right foot and the left foot, relaxing the right ankle, relaxing the right ankle and the right hamstring, the right shin, the right knee, the right thigh, the quad, and the right hip, relaxing the entire right leg. You can imagine a warm wave of relaxation coming over the right leg, releasing all tension. And then relaxing the left foot and the left ankle and calf and shin, the left knee and the inner thigh, the quad, the hamstring, the outer thigh, and the left hip. You can imagine a warm wave of relaxation, relaxing the entire left leg. And both legs are relaxed together. Relaxing that pelvic bowl, so just honoring the pelvic bowl and letting it release totally. Releasing any holding patterns or tension. In the low back and the side waist, surrendering and relaxing the belly, stomach, relaxing the rib cage and the lungs, the kidneys, the liver and gallbladder. Relaxing the chest and the breasts, the armpits, relaxing the clavicles, the sternum, relaxing the shoulders and the right arm, feeling a warm wave of relaxation down the entire right arm. Relaxing the left arm, like a warm wave of relaxation, just melting away any tension. And then relaxing the neck and the throat, the chin and the lips, the teeth. The tongue is heavy in the mouth while the soft palate lifts. Relaxing the nose and the cheeks, the eyes and the forehead, and every hair on the head. So relaxing the entire head. And imagining like warm honey melting down over the crown, all the way down the body to your toes, melting away all tension, stress, as you finally surrender. Resting here, allowing yourself to feel supported in your restfulness. Taking the time to feel the harmonious distribution of all the energy you've balanced and cultivated throughout your entire being. ready, you can either stay here or wiggle your fingers and your toes, stretching overhead, and then slowly rolling onto your side into a fetal position with your ear cradled on your bicep like a pillow. Taking a moment to pause in this really yummy, nourishing, comforting fetal posture to slowly transition, and then pressing up to a seat when you're ready. And once you're ready in your seat, bringing your hands to your heart center and just tapping in to that virtue of gratitude. So this practice of gratitude is not cliche or overrated. It is really the medicine. So bringing your hands in Anjali Namaste to your third eye and thanking yourself for your practice today. And then bending forward to connect one last time in this practice to the earth. The forehead comes to the ground to really seal in our practice. Namaste.